You know, Bill O'Reilly kills me. And whenever he starts his show, he always says, caution, you're about to enter the no spin zone. And to be honest with you, I think he needs to change that opening phrase to caution, you're about to enter the all bullshit zone. He has got this tremendous heart on for the Black Lives Matter movement. And to be honest with you, his rationale is ridiculous. I want to play this segment that he's going to give on the Black Lives Matter movement, where he again attempts to disparage it, and then I'm going to issue my counterclaim.
Caution, you are about to enter the no spin zone. In fact, it begins right now. Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. Murdering cops in Dallas. That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. In a vicious act of domestic terrorism, 5 Dallas police officers were shot dead, 7 others wounded when a hidden terrorist, armed with a semi-automatic assault rifle and a handgun, targeted cops at a peaceful demonstration. Police say 25-year-old Micah Johnson, a vet who served in Afghanistan, planned his mass murder after hearing reports of 2 black men shot dead by police earlier this week. We'll get to those incidents in a moment. Johnson, the terrorist, was killed when police unleashed an explosive device.
The suspect is deceased as a result of detonating the bomb. The reporting that the suspect killed himself is not accurate. We've confirmed that he's been deceased because of the detonation of the bomb.
Why does he constantly say the bomb? The bomb. I thought it was the detonation of a bomb, not the bomb. It's like he's talking about the damn atom bomb.
Hostage negotiator did an exceptional job getting this suspect to talk before he died. During the hours of negotiating, they eventually broke down. The suspect said he was upset about Black Lives Matter. He said he was upset about the recent police shootings. The suspect said he was upset at white people. The suspect stated he wanted to kill white people, especially white officers.
At this point, investigators say Johnson was not a member of Black Lives Matter or any other radical group. There were 3 other people taken into custody, but police now believe they were not associates of Johnson, that he did act alone. Speaking from Poland, President Obama said this.
Let me just say that even as yesterday I spoke about our need to be concerned as all Americans about racial disparities in our criminal justice system, I also said yesterday that our police have an extraordinarily difficult job, and the vast majority of them do their job in outstanding fashion.
Talking Points believes the vast majority, as the president said, of American law enforcement are honorable people. Less than 2% of all arrests made in the USA involve any kind of force by cops.
Okay, and I'm willing to say that the majority of the people that participate with the Black Lives Matter movement are honorable people, and that less than 2% are the ones creating all the issues as far as throwing paint and breaking windows and, you know, doing anything that's illegal.
But there are too many incidents where minority Americans are being killed or hurt over low-level beefs. That's the truth. And law enforcement leadership must compel their own individual agencies to act with restraint. I support the police, you know that. And I do not believe they are targeting black Americans in general. I don't believe that. And the stats back me up. But again...
Actually, the stats don't back you up.
Again, fatal mistakes are unacceptable, and there are too many of them. If you watched The Factor last night, you did not see analysis of police in Minnesota killing 32-year-old Philando Castile in a traffic stop. You did not see that. On Wednesday, we did cover the police killing of 37-year-old Alton Sterling in Louisiana, but we used restraint in our report with Martha MacCallum because all the facts are not in. I did not do the Minnesota story at all because facts were sparse and emotions white hot, like Ferguson. Any thinking person had to know hate was in the air.
But the facts weren't sparse. You had a live stream video that gave you a recount of everything that happened. There was no way for you to defend the position of the police officer killing a man who had an absolutely clean record, never was in trouble with the police, was not a gang member, had a great job, was clean as a whistle because the state issued him a concealed carry permit. So there was basically no defense of the officer for killing a man where he made a simple traffic stop for a broken taillight and because the driver was black and he profiled him.
You don't have to be a black man in America to know we have a serious problem with police killing black men.
And we're in the 21st century of high-tech lynching. Do you think African Americans are being hunted? Yes. Facts don't lie.
I mean, you're literally getting death sentences in this country for being African American. I trust law enforcement to a certain degree, but my question is, can you please stop killing us?
But even worse than those provocateurs was the governor of Minnesota.
Would this have happened if those passengers, the driver and the passenger were white? I don't think it would have. So I'm forced to confront it. I think all of us in Minnesota are forced to confront that this kind of racism exists, and that it's incumbent upon all of us to vow that we're going to do whatever we can to see that it doesn't happen, it doesn't continue to happen.
See, and the governor of Minnesota basically just called it the way it is, but you prick, you basically are just going to play to the right that, again, cops are never wrong. This cop was wrong, and you basically want to soft sell it because you can't admit the obvious.
Now, Dayton may be right in theory, but you do not. You do not throw a rhetorical bomb like that just hours after a horrendous death at the hands of police.
Oh, so basically what you're saying is there's a time to tell the truth and a time to keep your mouth shut. Really? That's Bill O'Reilly.
That's just dangerous to law enforcement. It's Dayton's job to provide calm, not to inflame the situation. Huge mistake on his part.
No, it wasn't a huge mistake on his part. Actually, what he said did in fact help to calm down his community by him basically just telling it the way it was, his community hearing him, and in this particular case, hoping that justice is going to be done. If justice is done and this person is indicted, gets a trial, and is found guilty, there will be no problem, Bill. It's only when justice is not done that the people's emotions flare up and they look for an outlet, but you're too dumb to realize that. Or maybe you're not.
Back to last night. While the Dallas protest was peaceful, at the same time, the Black Lives Matter crew, the Inflamers, were in Oakland doing what they always do.
There has been some damage here on the side of the police department headquarters, Oakland Police. The windows shattered, red paint thrown out about, and the words murderers scrawled in that red paint here on the side of the building. At the top of the freeway, I have to tell you, is sort of festive as the protesters are making a line. They're sitting in the middle of traffic. Some of the demonstrators actually jumped up on a tractor trailer.
All right, Bill. So you're basically saying there is a designated group of Black Lives Matter inflamers that travel from event to event, and if that particular group is not at that event, then everything is fine. Because there were Black Lives Matter protesters in New York, there was no problem there other than traffic being shut down. There were Black Lives Matter people in Philadelphia, there was no problem there. There were Black Lives Matter people in DC, There was no problem there. There were Black Lives Matter people in Atlanta. There was no problem there. And even as you said, in Dallas, there was Black Lives Matter people there, and the protest was peaceful until Mr. Johnson started shooting. So unless you're saying that there's a designated group of people that shuttle from city to city specifically to inflame, you're full of shit. Now, I saw the same pictures that you did. In my mind, those were some goddamn kids who should have had their asses at home that did the majority of that. No movement, no organization can control 100% of the people that are associated with it. But what you want to do is use a broad brush to paint the entire Black Lives Matter movement based on the actions of a few individuals, and that shit don't cut it. If we're going to use that logic, then I need to call every police officer in the country rapist based on the number of rapes police officers have been found guilty of and are doing time for throughout the country. I draw your attention to the situation of Daniel Holtzclaw, who raped 13 black women in Oklahoma. There was another situation up in Buffalo, New York, where a New York State police officer raped a woman, and the DA basically got the guy charges down to sexual misconduct, and then the rapes that took place by police officers down in Florida of both men and women. So based on those instances, I should be able to call every police officer a rapist using your logic. That's why you're full of shit.
Number of arrests, destruction, the usual. So here's the truth in summation. Micah Johnson was a hater and a terrorist. Black Lives Matter inflames rather than illuminates. It is essentially a hate America group.
That is bullshit. The Black Lives Matter movement does not inflame. They basically are looking for justice, and they do not preach violence. They preach non-violence. So it is not a hate America group. It's a we want justice in America, and we want accountability from law enforcement group.
Law enforcement leaders should make fair dealings with minority Americans a top priority. Finally, we as a nation need to fight the racial madness that is harming the USA by being fair ourselves and calling out the haters wherever they may be. And that's the memo. Next on the...
Yeah, and that's the bullshit.